After years of strong growth, Patanjali posted a 10% fall in its sales in FY18. Now, commentary from other FMCG majors since then has painted the risk that the competition from Patanjali poses as having passed the peak. So, can FMCG majors really breathe easy now? Data with our colleague Priya Sheth shows that even as sales growth slowed down for Patanjali, its penetration across important categories has only gone up. So, Priya, still a competition, Patanjali?
Well, there are several factors to consider as far as this data is concerned. But of course, despite a growth slowed down at Patanjali Ayurved, when we look at data from the Cantor World Panel, what it looks like is that penetration levels have increased dramatically. In fact, on an overall level, Patanjali penetration has increased from 44.5% in 2017 to close to 50% in 2018, which means that about 50% of the Indian households still use Patanjali products. Now, if you look at rural penetration, that's really driven this kind of growth for Patanjali, which has close to tripled over the last 3 years. So it stands at about 43.9% versus 13% in 2015-16. But, you know, when you look at the several categories that have driven this growth, personal care it has been one category that has been fueling growth. In fact, toothpaste penetration has close to doubled over the last 2 years to about 34.8% from 18% in 2016. Similar the case for shampoo, where we've seen penetration levels increase to 6.1% from 9.1% in 2018. But of course, as far as ghee and other food categories are concerned, ghee and atta have seen a marginal decline, or they have been stagnant over the last 2 years. So therefore, the mainstay categories, that's personal care, has really stayed ground, but food has been more stagnant than ever. In fact, when you look at Patanjali's overall strategy, they have been fine-tuning and overhauling their supply chain. And when we speak to analysts, what they really say is that the increasing penetration may not necessarily be good news for Patanjali because sales numbers have not grown at the same rate. So therefore, it will be interesting to see how the dynamics of this market really shape up going forward.
Okay, well, my personal favorites are the orange face wash and the aloe vera gel. That has worked very well for me, and I'm sure it has done well in the market as well. As you're saying, you know, personal care products have done better. Well, thanks Priya for that. But moving on now to an exclusive in conversation with our colleague Shireen Bhan. Deloitte Global CEO Puneet Renjan talks about the recent audit issues and also where does India stand in their growth outlook. Take a look.
From our perspective, India is still the shining economy. I think we are very bullish on India. As I said, 45,000, probably the fastest growing economy for Deloitte. Deloitte grew double-digit rates last year, and we are very bullish on India.
One of the concerns, though, that we are seeing in India, especially with respect to corporate governance, and that is now a red flag, not just for corporates, but also for auditors, etc. How are you dealing with the recent accidents that have happened in the Indian ecosystem?
Well, I think as a firm, Deloitte is very committed to high standards in terms of corporate governance. We believe that audit quality and improving audit quality is something that the public expects us to lead on. Deloitte is certainly investing heavily in trying to improve audit quality. It's an ongoing quest. We also are trying hard to live up to the public trust that has been placed in us. There is an expectation gap between what is expected of auditors and what we deliver, and we're certainly prepared to engage with appropriate public policy makers to bridge that expectation gap. But as a firm, you can count on Deloitte on leading, particularly when it comes to audit quality.
But is there anything specific that you intend to do in India in the context of the recent developments?
Well, I'm not going to comment specifically about the Indian developments, but what I will say is that we will work collaboratively with public policy makers in India and elsewhere to do our bit.
All right, and a further development in the ongoing corruption case against former ICICI Bank Chief Executive Chanda Kochhar, her husband Deepak Kochhar and Videocon Managing Director Venugopal Dhoot. Well, the Central Bureau of Investigation has issued a lookout circular against them. Now, remember, an FIR was registered last month for alleged corruption in loans worth about 1,875 crore rupees given to Videocon Group during the years 2009 and 11. Now, just an alert that lookout circulars after an FIR are mandatory in cases where economic offences such as money laundering are alleged.
Okay, with that, it's curtains down on Business Lunch. You guys have a great weekend. Mid-Cap Radar comes up on the other side.